So this is a short video showing how to animate Monty doing a military style walk. And in this case, he's going to do a kind of goose step like he might do on a military parade. Perhaps he's marching past the balcony of some tin pot dictator trying to impress. And so what I've done is I've downloaded a helmet from TurboSquid and attached it to Monty. So this is what we're going for, a kind of Monty goose step. You can multiply this, you can have lots of Montys doing this. You could put a tank in the background. You could add some military martial music and you'd have Monty doing a goose step parade. Now we're going to start as always with the basic walk, because all of these walks start with the basic walk cycle that I did a couple of days ago, and so you want to be watching that series of videos first, so that you get the basic walk cycle down, and then I'll show you how with just a few clicks you can make Monty feel military and completely different from the basic walk. So let's start with the basic walk cycle. So here's the basic walk cycle that we did a few days ago, and this will be our foundation, if you like, for the military walk. So the first thing I want to do here is to make Monty feel like a soldier. We're not going to change the basic timing of the walk, although we are going to make his feet pop up in the air. One thing that you'll notice if you look at soldiers goose stepping, in fact, actually, before we do anything else, let's go and have a look at that. Let's go ahead and Google that. So I'm just going to go to our old Fred Google, and I'm going to enter soldier goose step like that, and then I'm going to go to images, and I'm just going to see what they look like. So there we go. So we've got a bunch of soldiers. So I think what we can go for is obviously you've got the legs kicking up in the air, but I think we can lean Monty's whole body backwards, so that that's going to give us more room for his high kick. So I'm going to rotate him backwards like that. And if I do that at frame 1, which I have just done, sorry, let's just select that root control again. Oh, and always turn off select surface objects so you don't mistakenly keyframe surface geometry. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger here. There we go. And there's our rotate X curve. So I'm just going to pull these keyframes down so it's all level. So Monty now kind of looks like he's staring up into space, but it'll all make sense when we get the helmet on there and also kick his legs up. Now, to find a helmet, I'm going to recommend that you go to TurboSquid. So TurboSquid is great. There's loads of free stuff there. There are a lot of sites that do similar things, but I've already got a login for TurboSquid, and if you search for helmet, we should be able to find somebody will have made a helmet. Now if I search by lower prices, we're going to get the free stuff. So there you go. You can get a German one there, but that does come loaded with quite a lot of baggage, as it were. So you can pick any one of these helmets. That's quite a fun one. That looks like actually that's 3ds Max. That's not going to work. If you want to search by Maya format, we could go for the things that work in Maya. So that's .ma, also OBJ, that will work in Maya, also FBX, that will work in Maya. What else? That's about it for us, for the Maya users. So any one of these helmets should do fine. There's another German helmet. That one's free. You pick one of these Viking ones. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Yeah, I mean, any one of these will be fine. But you might, I mean, so far, although it does come slightly freighted with historical baggage, the German one is probably the best of this bunch that I'm looking at now, because in fact the one I was actually searching for doesn't appear to be here anymore. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you decide what kind of helmet you want to use. I am going to open up a folder, and I'm just going to navigate to UG Shares, which is where at Escape Studios we keep all our stuff. And so I'm going to go to Assets, Props, Gen, and then no, I want to go up Props, Hats. There we go. That's the one I want. And this is actually the helmet I'm going to select here. Helmet.ma. I'm just going to copy that. So I'm going to copy that. But you can use any helmet you want. And I'm then going to open up another folder. And I'm going to go back to my Maya project, which is in Maya Documents, My Documents Maya, and it will be the same in your directory. You just go to My Documents Maya, and then I go to Projects. Now I've got a lot of projects here. So what I'm going to do is find the one that I'm working in, which is Monty Walk. Yours won't look like this because you probably don't have quite this number of projects here. Monty Walk, 25th of May. So I'm going to open up that, and I'm going to put the helmet in my Scenes folder. I'm going to drop it in there. Actually, no, I don't think I am working in that one. I think I might be working in... dear. Okay, so I found the right folder, and I've just dropped the helmet there in my Scenes folder. You won't have anything like this amount of stuff in your Scenes folder, but I've just dropped the helmet.ma in there, which means that I can now go ahead and import that into my shot, as long as I've set my project correctly, which hopefully I have. So I go File, Import, and there it is. There's the helmet. I go ahead and import that, and there's my helmet down there. Now, I'm going to need to turn Select Surface Objects back on again, so I can select the helmet, press W for move, and I'm just going to move that above Monty's head and go back to frame R1. Now what's happened here, the reason why my scene has just gone nuts, is because the helmet is set to frame 1, whereas our Monty walk cycle actually starts at 101, which is much more industry standard. So I've just got to change all of that back again. And this does happen when you import strange stuff into your shot. So there we go. There we've got our helmet. Now, obviously, it's much too small, so I've got to make it bigger. So I'm going to make the helmet bigger. So it needs to be about 3 times as big. So I'm going to change all those values in there to 0.3. That's a bit too big. So I'm going to change that back to 0.25. That looks about right. And now I've got to attach this to Monty's head, because he's got to walk around with this thing on his head. So if I go back to frame 101, I'll show you very quickly how to attach the helmet to Monty. So first thing I'm going to do is press 4 on my keyboard, so everything goes to wireframe. Actually, before I do that, let's go back to 5 again, back to texture mode. And let's just put the helmet on Monty so it sits right on his head. So frame 101, there we go. I'm just going to move that. This is the helmet, by the way, I was looking for at Turbo Squid. It doesn't seem to be there anymore. Don't know why. But as I said, you can use any helmet. Now, actually, that still looks a little bit small, doesn't it? Let's try 0.27, like that. That should do. It looks sort of vaguely World War II Italian, this one. Okay. Now, having done that, I'm going to press 4 again on my keyboard, so I go back to wireframe. Then I zoom in close, select the helmet, and then holding down the Shift key, select the squash and stretch control above Monty's head. Both will be highlighted, and press P on my keyboard. Zoom out again, press play, and now the helmet is attached to Monty. If I press 5 again on my keyboard, I should have the helmet. Looks like the helmet comes with a texture, which I haven't uploaded, but that's fine. We don't really need that. Okay, now Monty's already green, so he's already got a kind of military bearing. So all I need to do now is to, actually, let's turn Select Surface Objects off again. Let's really get those legs so that they kick up in the air. So the high point here, the high point here at 113, instead of being just kind of a little bit off the ground like that, it's going to be way off the ground. And we really want a nice big up in the air kick, just like those drawings, or just like those photographs that we were looking at when we went to Google. Let's see if Google. There we go. So look at how high those legs go. Super high up. So we want to do something similar. So I'm going to get those way up in the air like that. Nice big kick. And of course, and then as that foot is coming down, I want that to be nice and tight. So at 115, I'm going to lift that up so it's still quite high up in the air, because I don't want sluggish timing, because it's going to kind of come down with a snap. I'm just trying to get this pose right. There we go. Something like that. 116. Again, I still want this up in the air because I want it with a nice big snap as it comes down. So let's pull that up. Quite a lot. There's a bit. This one is a little bit more fiddly because there's a little bit more to do. There we go. And then clunk. So the coming down bit is pretty good, but the going up bit isn't. So because here at 111, I need to stretch that foot out because it needs to kind of swing out. And now if I was really doing this properly, I'd be analyzing very carefully the motion of a goose stepping soldier. But I'm not too worried because it's only Monty. The more realistic you get, the more you've got to follow live action reference. There we go. Right. Great. So that leg is looking pretty good. So that's one leg done. And now all I've got to do is do the other one. So this leg comes forward. So the high point is going to be 129. So let's select his right foot. And we're just here doing exactly the same thing. It's got a mirror, more or less mirror image. The first one, because we want the walk to be even. And you know, so we want to, yeah. So there we go. There's the high kick, and coming down at 131. I still want that up in the air like that. And then even at 132, I'm basically having to keyframe every frame here to make this work. There we go. So we're almost there, but I've got to when the foot comes forward and swings forwards here at 127, I want that. Whoops. I want that kind of swinging out there like that. There we go. There we go. Something like that. There's a few clicks and bumps in there that we can smooth out. But basically now that's working pretty decently well. And we've got Monty kind of walking along with his helmet, leaning slightly backwards to give his feet room to move, and goose stepping along, and in a kind of parade ground environment. So you can see that one took us a little longer than some of the others, but still, in 15 minutes we managed to change Monty's basic walk into a military walk without too much effort. So the takeaway from this is, if you start with an effective basic walk cycle, which is working well, you can adapt that in any number of ways to give the character different character and personality. And these are just the examples that I'm showing you, but there are loads of different possibilities that you could create to give Monty a different personality from the basic walk.